and welcome to Operation PaperDrip. My name's Nick McQuik. As always, I'm joined by Uncle Hack. Do you feel like your vote means less and less every year? Do you feel like there's someone secretly running the world and they might not be the people that you're voting for? Well, you've come to the right YouTube channel and it's just been demonetized. So who's the real political power in the world?
See, this is what, like, once you start getting more into it, right? Like, your base level knowledge of politics, you think like it's a left versus right, or red versus blue, or like here we got like a multi-party system, right? And you want to believe that these people possess the power, and that's not true because they're lobbied by major companies, and then on top of it, those major companies are owned by very wealthy individuals, or the major stake in that company is owned by a shell corporation of some sort. Like, look at BlackRock, Vanguard, how much they own of all the little products that you have in your life, right? And you want to believe that the man that sits in the chair and, you know, Mr. Speaker, that guy influences change in the country, and that's not the case. It's money is where the power truly comes from, you know? And you know, somebody like Larry Fink has a major influence across like the entire globe, or a George Soros. And I know like you bring up that name and a lot of people are like, oh, conspiracy theorist, but when you follow the money back, it's linked to a lot of it is linked to a man like George Soros, a man like Larry Fink.
Well, even stepping back from anything that could be conspiratorial, if you look at how much of like America's economy is made up of invading countries, war, and how much lobbying is done by those companies, it's very clear like cause and causation. Yes. Of like there are companies who have money. They pay the government that money, and the government does what's best for them. Even though the government, they get voted in, they put their hand on some dictionary or something and go like, in the Gada Davida, I love the people, and that's who I'm serving. It turns out that at the end of the day, that's almost never the story.
No, it isn't. It's theater of the mind of like, you want to believe that this person that you know, you go to his rally, you hear him speak, and he's like emotionally captured you. And now you think that this man is going to change your life in some way, shape, or form, and it never ends up that way. In fact, you know, you can look at policies even in Canadian history, and it doesn't matter if it's excuse me, left or right, liberal, conservative. All of them have contributed to the control of the masses. It's always been a class war.
A government exists at the detriment of its people.
Yes.
And being pro-right or pro-left, that's just picking the hand that you want to get hit with.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah. We all want to believe that this is like a horizontal battle, but it's not. It's always been a vertical, you know. Yeah. And the population at the top of that pyramid is much smaller than you would ever imagine. And it's slowly, like, as you go down, like the middle class, we've completely removed that. Now it's like peasants and kings all over again.
Yeah, the middle class doesn't, because the traditional structure of a middle class is you would start out as an immigrant, you'd be lower class, you'd work your way up to middle class so that you could have kids and have a dream of like them being educated and getting to upper class. But now, even with a good education, with a prestigious upbringing, there is no middle class.
No.
There's the people that can barely afford to live and the people that can have a yacht.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. And now you're starting to feel the squeeze of late stage capitalism because these people at the top are trying to squeeze this for all that it's been worth, like all that it is worth. And you're seeing the struggle of folks. And what I find right now is very interesting is like, especially in Canada, is like we're turning to a guy like Pierre Poilievre and thinking that this man is going to be the reason that this all changes. But the steps they're already in motion if you think about it when it comes to online censorship, which was, you know, initially created by a conservative. You're seeing the control of media now in the country. You're feeling the effects of like the decisions made from years ago, prior to Trudeau even really stepping into office and implementing his thoughts and feels. It's just, we need a boogeyman at all times, so you point at that guy.
Oh, before it was protect the children, then it was like keep our neighborhood safe, and now it's like, once again, protect the children online. The government has to step in and block YouTube videos to protect their children. Isn't that what the parents should be doing?
Yeah.
Why do we need the government to protect the children? I don't have children. I don't plan on having children. I don't want the government to protect my hypothetical never existing children. I don't care.
Yeah, I just don't want them involved in my life that
Exactly.
much. The less they're involved. I don't think it's a secret anymore on who's really running the world. I think we're kind of waking up to the idea that politics is just, I don't know, it's similar to like a sporting event, you know, at this point, and you just run like seasons and you're running for championships, and the comparisons are like almost uncanny in a way.
I think some people woke up, but there's a lot of people that don't ever want to admit they're wrong, and they just double down on their politics, and they don't actually think about it. When you bring up a topic, they just remember what the group told them to think about.
Yeah, totally. And a lot of this political division is being funded by the wealthy and the elite that do secretly control the world. Like if a lot of this money, investigative journalism now is now more independent, and they're breaking a lot of stories that get suppressed. And one I just seen is that pro-Israel protesters are being paid $50,000 plus benefits to go out and push the message that we need this war. So you have paid opposition to further the narrative on both sides. You know, like a lot of these encampments and these protesters that you're seeing that are pro-Palestine are also funded by the same people. It's the same reason that these wealthy people lobby a Democrat, Republican, or conservative, liberal. They lobby the same amount of money gets allocated to whatever party. And they're not stupid individuals. They have the statistics. They know the sway of the country. We are cattle that they can move in whatever direction that they want.
Who influences the influencers, eh? That's the weird thing. You got to think about it. There's a weird value on that. And like you said earlier, the people at the top are against us, but for us it seems like it's the right and the left, like constantly going at each other, because the people at the top can't win if everybody's unified.
No.
And like, even if you're right-leaning, if you're left-leaning, it doesn't matter. There's good people on both sides.
Yeah.
They're good for different reasons. Like you're allowed to have a different opinion than someone.
Yes.
And still be good. Like the amount of divisiveness that politics has brought in. Like, I remember growing up, you could have lunch and dinner with people you disagreed with politically and be fine. You could get along. You would play sports with them, you'd hang out. It was never a thing. And now there's so much more team identity than there is individual. That's almost been stripped of us. Yeah,
and well, that's another thing is like identity politics almost like stems back to the universities really pushing this on people that, you know, you got to have these subgroups with one another. It just causes this major division, and then now all of a sudden you had left, right, and now there's niche groups inside of one another that infight with one another and also fight. It's very complicated.
Yeah, it's just creating levels of social tension to make people angry at each other about things that people don't care about.
Yeah, a lot of and what you're seeing, like, one thing that I find really interesting is like the trans thing. It didn't become so popular.
I've seen your search history.
Yeah. They make great short films. All investigative. I don't think that this issue would be as big as what it is if pharmaceutical companies and these these surgeries didn't cost as much, because now you've created like over $1 billion industry out of this. So of course they're going to want to make money off of it. They just found a new way to really cash in
on mental illness.
Yeah, dude. You have a shattered society because our purchasing power is low. A lot of us feel as if We don't have community around us. You know, we've lost these things, like even just stupid little things like a bowling club, you know, that your grandpa would go to in the 70s don't exist anymore. Nobody participates in these little community building exercises because for whatever reason, it's just been destroyed, or you're led to believe that your neighbor's a Nazi, or you know.
Well, you're told that you have to care about issues because a group that you identify cares about those issues. So you have to care about them, but not think about them and not criticize or challenge any thoughts about them. And then when you meet somebody else that doesn't care about them, the instinct is to start shaming them.
Yeah.
But it's like nobody's in control about what other people do. If you're trans, if you're a neo-Nazi, that's you. Who cares? I have to care about what you can control in your life. You can't care about other people. You can't try and influence their political beliefs. You can't try and shame someone into agreeing with you. Human brains don't work that way. No, you just push them away.
Yeah, we've been like that since the archaic ages, man. It's like we've tribed up like that, and you know, so it does make sense like why a lot of this is happening, because I think we're too interconnected, where prior, you know, anything past like, what is it, like a group of 100 humans?
The Dunbar's number, the 100 humans that you can know and socially understand without like judging them unnecessarily. But the worst part about all of this is there are so many people that are so similar in every aspect, but one thing divides them, and they have to push away, and they can't be around that person. Like the amount of people that I've seen that go like, I can't be in the same room as that person. That person likes Trump, or that person supports Biden. And it's like, you can be in the same room with somebody who's a serial killer. You can be in the same room with a degenerate or a concussion monkey. It doesn't matter. You're not impressing anyone by showing that you're better than anyone.
No.
You're alienating yourself and looking like you've got a stick up your ass. I think whoever's running the world, that sort of like collective mental illness that we've gathered from social media, they need to flex and impress other people with the virtues and standards and principles that we have. That is a collective mental illness that is to our detriment and just helps them put the shackles on us and guide us around.
100%, man. I agree.
Yeah. Like, favorite, subscribe.
we're breaking it down today, baby.
Oh, we're getting into it. God damn it, a sativa and an indica? What?
Oh, man, you better figure that out. Your insides right now are just like... Yeah, we want to chill out. No, it's time to get up.
Yeah, it's get up and get down. Woo!